All right, well, I guess we'll just get started again to the best of our ability. Starting from the top, sorry. Okay, this meeting is being recorded by the Greenfield Unhoused Community Ad Hoc Committee. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. Anthony left me because this is not working. Don't ask him.
He's probably on his way here.
Maybe. Now to the roll call of members. Sarah Brown, present. Christy Allen.
Yes, present.
Present. Larry Thomas.
Present.
Reese McGovern, joining soon. Robin Green stepped out for a second to fix the audio. Pamela Goodwin.
Present.
And Zoe Smith.
Present.
Thanks. And then we'll have our guests introduce. And we'll go from you to.
Okay, I'm Pamela McBride, Greenfield Public Library.
I'm Jake McClay. I'm here with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office.
Emma Coles, the 3-county COC. Vega Johnson, I'm also from the 3-county COC.
Christy Allen, one of the homeless, trying to help the homeless.
Larry, I work with Wildflower Alliance in Holiday.
Thank you all. So now we have public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to make a public comment? That's not. I think we lost our guest speaker, Sarah Ahern. Unfortunately.
I'll find out if I can get that issue.
Okay, she said,
She's a good friend of me, so I can text her.
Well, and I just want everybody to know, Tara confirmed from the recovery project. She was coming or sending someone, and then she said they were unable to. So Sarah reached out to Sarah Ahern.
Well, the clerk is mid-meeting, but,
She said she didn't wait.
Computer now.
we're using the computer audio,
oh, great, awesome.
but she can come up after.
Well, she is already in the midst of sending an IT person.
Oh, okay, good.
Can't
Yeah.
do it herself.
Sarah Hearn said she's in the waiting.
Oh, okay. That's really confusing because we are not seeing
Okay, I'm gonna tell her,
her in the waiting room.
okay.
Did you make someone else the host?
Oh, yeah, Zoe, I think you might still be the host.
Good catch me then. I'm used to these.
Okay, weird. All right, let's see this. Okay, waiting room.
She left the room.
Check this out.
Yeah, if you look at participants.
Never mind. I thought this was gonna be so simple.
Jeez.
Okay, I let them in.
Okay, thank you. Great. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Zoe.
And okay,
All right. Sarah, can you hear us? Sorry about that. Awesome. We don't usually have this much tech trouble.
It's all good. Technology keeps on going. You're good. Thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourself? We just introduced ourselves and this.
Sure. I'm Sarah Hearn. I'm a community member of Greenfield. I'm also the chair of the Opioid Use and Prevention Commission and a medical volunteer with the Medical Reserve Corps.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's do our announcements and then we can give it back to you. The announcements are that there's a 10-week campaign to get signatures to get rent control or rent stabilization on the ballot for 2026. This is being led by Springfield No One Leaves. And this Sunday.
I heard you were having audio issues. Is everything okay now?
I'm using my computer for audio and it seems maybe not worth disrupting for the meanwhile, but thank you.
As long as everybody can hear
Yeah,
everybody else, then you're good.
thank you.
Sorry to
Thank you.
disrupt. Thank you.
Okay, and then this Sunday, 12 to 3, we're making like campaign materials. We're gonna make us banners. They're giving us t-shirts, but maybe we'll do our own t-shirts as well at some point. And yeah, and I have the signature sheets with me right now, if anyone would like to sign at the end. And if you want to also help collect signatures, that would be awesome. I can give you some sheets. And the goal is to get 75,000 across the state and Franklin County, I don't know, they didn't give us a target number yet, but like. Multiple thousands ideally. So, any questions on?
Can I just also add, Sarah, so if you know anybody in Hampshire County, Sarah knows who the Hampshire County leagues are. They're doing it in Hamden, Hampshire, and Franklin, and this is a lot of work, needing a lot of troops, looking for stabilizing the rent as an initiative. So if we want to stop the evictions and be a little helpful about that kind of thing, no one leaves is in charge overall. Super important because they're still being evicted.
Oh, yeah,
The sheets that you have, are those only for Hampshire County, or could I take some with me too? Or sorry, are those only for Franklin County? Or can I take some to Hampshire with me where I live?
so it's, the sheets are blank, they just have the petition language on it.
Okay.
And then you write down the town and. you
Yeah, and
vote
it's like
that.
one per town, right?
And it's one sheet per town.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Let's move on, unless there's another announcement, anything. I don't know, anything going on? I'm sure there's things going on, but.
Would we want to announce about barbecue?
That's on the agenda for later to like
Okay.
think about it.
Okay.
Let's move over to Sarah to talk, because I think you still have to leave at 10:30. Would you like to share any updates? I think you essentially have 3 roles that are incredibly relevant for this committee. So I don't know where you want to start.
Well, as far as the commission, I just want to invite everybody that, if you're interested in, what the commission is doing, we meet every 3rd Monday at 5 p.m. at the John Zahn Center. So September 15th, we'll be meeting. We invite the public to join us, and listen, what kinds of things that we're working on. We're working on, creating that process, for the abatement funds. The other update is, I will be taking on the role of volunteer coordinator for the overflow shelter. I can't speak too much about MRC, Medical Reserve Corps. We are undergoing some restructuring right now. So, I've been meeting with Amy Kaling about, what that's gonna look like, and many of the folks that are in this meeting today. We know this takes a community to get this done. So my door is always open for feedback, questions, concerns. There will be, I think, another announcement coming from MRC. The unit has not been notified yet about the restructuring, so I want to be really sensitive about what I share about that. But I want to create a communication flow that works for everybody that's involved in this project. That's my intention. I also have the intention to create a training catalog for our community volunteers. Where I work, we are trainers. That's what we do. And we train the peer recovery workforce, but also we have trainings that can educate folks on addiction, cultural competency, infinite pathways of recovery. And also I'm a council member of the National Council on Homelessness, and they have also a wonderful catalog of, how do you interact with our neighbors who are unsheltered in that setting? And just things that some folks may not know because they don't do the work, and that's not, a judgment on anybody. We all come with different skill sets to this project. And so that's my thinking. But again, I will be attending these meetings, and I welcome any suggestions and feedback about what didn't work last year, what things that you're hoping to infuse this year in our overflow shelter. So I guess that's my announcements, to be continued, because we're still working out the plan. But I'm grateful for all of you, for all the work that you do every day in our city, helping our neighbors who are unsheltered in a kind, compassionate way. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I just, I'm pretty sure she's talking what we normally call the warming center. Am I correct, Sarah?
Yes, you are correct.
The terminology was not what I was thinking, but I'm sure we're talking about the same thing. So,
Yeah, same thing.
at Housing Greenfield, Amy Caroline came and talked about a meeting with the volunteers, and I know the plan is to orient people this go around. And we had such a full agenda that we didn't get a show of hands in that Zoom room. Things got tabled, and that's very unusual because we usually cover everything and have tons of questions that we Q&A time. So I did not get a sense in that particular group at the recent meeting of who was willing to come back again, for example. That's what I'm concerned about that from what I've heard from various other people as well. So I'm glad you're involved and can figure out who wants to return under what conditions. I've met with Amy personally about that.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really excellent point, because of, it was a learning curve. This is something that we've never really done in this way. So I'd like for the volunteers to feel comfortable enough to come back. I'm also working on accessing the Medical Reserve Corps volunteers that did sign up last year. We're working out the kinks with that because they're working on giving me access so that we can send out, an email blast to all the volunteers with an update and, working with Amy, Kayleen, and so they know this is how we're going to do this year. And holding space for the grievance, I think sometimes in the moment there's not an opportunity for that. And folks had some uncomfortability. And what I heard consistently was they felt like they didn't have enough knowledge, education, or training. And so they felt kind of exposed. And, I took that in my heart and want to work hard with all of you in the city to make sure that we create, we get them ready in a way and have that communication flow be consistent between the volunteers. I think we're going to do things very differently this year where the volunteers will feel like they have a point person. I'm a systems person and I'm into structure because structure works in these kind of situations. So I'd like to create a structure with all of the parties that work that creates that feedback flow. So, so that the volunteers know this is who you contact for this is who you contact for this, because that came up too last year is nobody knew who to really talk to about some of the things that were happening. So I want to create a structure so people know. They know, like if there's something to do with the building, obviously you're going to talk to the captain, the Salvation Army, and let him know, hey, something's happening in the building, the heat's not working, or the door's locking, or whatever the situation is, like creating that, and then giving the volunteers the information that they need so that they can volunteer and they can feel comfortable. So thank you for that. That was a really good point, that some people didn't feel comfortable after their experience last year.
Thanks.
And I will say that the concern is, it's way more than the Greenfield. People looking for staying warm. So other places come, are solved through a computer.
We're using our computer for audio, but it might be good to check after the meeting, and thank you.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I think that conversation is more for the city because we didn't really have a policy last year about, my personal philosophy, if somebody needs to get out of the cold, not freeze overnight, it doesn't matter to me if they're a Greenfield resident, but that's just my opinion, and I don't set the policy of that. But that's a good point, and we should talk to the city about what should that policy be, and that should be public facing, that the public should know, hey, we don't have the resources to, have everybody come through from other counties. Other counties have more shelters than we do. But being said, they're human beings, right? And nobody wants them outside freezing for whatever reason. But I would lean on the city's policy about that because this is a city project. I mean, it's kind of like this weird situation where it is and it isn't. But I would lean towards creating a policy for that is also kind, compassionate, and humanistic, and doesn't send out the messaging, right? That we're going to be shutting our doors, because are we really going to be asking people as they come through, where are you from? I'm not comfortable with that. I think we need to set a policy first and foremost.
Hi, my name is Larry, and I'm an outreach worker right here on the streets of Greenfield, and so I work with a lot of the folks that that came to the warming shelter. A lot of in this time of the year, a lot of our folks go down toward Northampton and Amherst, but they go down there to flex doors. So it's kind of like a give and take. You know what I mean? I know we got folks last year that were, I guess they would gave people a hard time. You know,
Mhm.
they got kicked out of other shelters in other areas. I get that, but at the same time, I don't, it's weird because we send folks down there, and I'm like Sarah, I don't want nobody to freeze. That's what this is about. I meet people all the time that I may not never even see again. When I'm outside on the streets, especially in the wintertime. I give folks supplies, sleeping bags, wool blankets, all type of stuff. Mats to sleep on the ground with, you know. And I don't, so to speak, they're not always Greenfield residents. They're just people.
No, I get it, but what I wanna say is, at the end of the season, we got a list of instructions from Christy Lewent, who runs 2 counties. And those came in and they just signed their first name and were to read that and abide by that. And so that came in toward the end. And so when a lot of problems were happening, people were Ubered in and shipped in, because as you said, they had money for a motel, they didn't want those particular people in the motel, and that's where a lot of conflict was happening. Because our community take care of each other. You can ask Christy about that. I'm not, every time I bring this up, people act like I want a frozen body. That's not the case. I want it to work more smoothly, which I think is why this is an important conversation.
I think having, the trauma-informed approach is letting people know what the expectations are, like right off the bat, right? In the beginning of this season, we should have that. And I haven't had a conversation with the captain and from Salvation Army about could we post them on the wall? Could we just have a very, like a poster on the wall that, expectations that are not, how do I say this? We don't want to infantilize people either, right? But just say, hey, these are the expectations of utilizing our warming center. I think that's the informed way of putting that out there so that everybody can see it once they come in. So there's no question. And if they have a question, they can talk to the volunteers like, hey, what does this mean? This is what this means. Because we understand that folks are out there living rough. They're not going to be coming through and presenting like some of us are that have homes and have warm homes to go to. So I also want to hold that too. Is that the expectation is not for them to come through perfect, but also just give them the information that they need. This is the expectation. If you're having a hard time, come see a volunteer. I've taken walks with people. I've gone outside. I don't smoke tobacco anymore, but I've actually went outside with guests and de-escalated because there was a situation that was happening, and I knew the person from the community and said, hey, let's come take a walk. Let's talk about it. And just held space for whatever they're feeling. It's not for us to decide whether it's true or not. They're having a feeling, something's happening. And I think that's where the training comes in, a de-escalation, and knowing how to handle those kind of things, the volunteers. It's not helpful to be get in the middle of anything and take a side, but having that de-escalation, I think, is helpful. But that's my suggestion, is having those guidelines. I don't like the term rules, but guidelines. Hey, these are the guidelines for using our warming center, and welcome, right? Welcome should be the first thing. Welcome. Here are guidelines for the warming, so everybody knows who comes through, regardless of where they're coming from.
Thank you, Sarah. We're very lucky that you are running it. And I like the idea of community agreements for people who are using the space, and then also even just some training and norms for people who are helping to host the hours.
I'm not doing this by myself. I just want to say that out loud. This takes a community. Thank you for your well wishes to me. But this is a community effort, and this is how I give back to my community, is by volunteering this way. I don't get paid to do this work. I do it because this is how I give back. I've been in that position. I've been unsheltered. I know what that feels like. And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity. to be a part of this and leaning on every single one of you because we are all content experts of, where we stand, the work that we do, the communities that we engage with. So, I view this as a team effort. I just wanted to say that out loud.
Which also I think goes back to the regional approach, like it's a team effort throughout all the towns too.
I think I'm just gonna share one more quick thing about this. This became possible last year, but there was a lot of advocacy throughout the years to create the Warming Center. There's a lot of talk, a lot of meetings I went to in the past. I've been doing this work for a few years and working with a lot of folks in our community. Like I said earlier, it does take a village. It's just not a one-person thing. I'll pass.
Does anyone have questions? And then also what I'd like to talk about is just ways that we can help, like assuming when there's a call for volunteers, we should spread the word, but other ways that you can help.
Was that a question for me
Yeah.
or?
Well, does
Oh.
anyone have any questions first and then?
I do have a question. So, there's meetings that are gonna go around this, Sarah? Is that what you said in the beginning?
Yeah, I'd like to set up a meeting of volunteers, once I get the volunteer list from last year, I'd like to set up a meeting. I'd also like to set up a separate meeting with what I'll call providers, right? Like Larry, you do street outreach every day, you're a provider. The people, that are involved, law enforcement, the fire department who will be joining us in shifts. I'd like to have a strategy meeting with all of you to talk about things that came up last year, if the police and fire are going to be, partnering every shift, we want to talk about what does that look like and what are their parameters so that we know, right? Like, thank you for standing up to do that with us. But I'd like to, have a conversation about that and strategize because we are a team. And I'd also, my intention is to have, once we get this rolling, having weekly volunteer check-in meetings. I think it's really vital. At the Medical Reserve Corps, when I joined pre-pandemic, that's what we did. We had weekly check-ins. It was the same time. We can work out timing, time of day. I mean, I work full time, so it would have to be the evenings for me. But yeah, that's a way to check the pulse of the volunteers weekly. So it doesn't become like this chaotic kind of environment thing. And Carmela Lanza-Weil, who was my unit coordinator when I was onboarded with the Medical Reserve Corps and actually works for FERCOG. I spoke with her 2 nights ago, and she is also willing to help. She's reaching out to Boston to see how I can have access to mass response. I mean, I have access as an MRC volunteer, but as a coordinator. So we have the law enforcement will appreciate this. We have an ICS command system because we have to insert into any system during an emergency. So we had to respect that. So I'm waiting to hear back from her, but she's on board to help. And Carmela, her and Corinne McEwen were, led the charge during the pandemic of both units, Berkshire County and Franklin County, which I can disclose are split. Our units are now split. Berkshire County is their own unit again, and Franklin County is our own unit. So I'm looping her in as well. I don't know how much capacity she has, but she offered to assist in any way possible on that end. So I'm hoping that I can have access to mass response because that will give me all of the volunteers that are part of Franklin MRC, and then trying to loop them into and finding a way to do a sign up that is easily accessible to all people. I'd be curious to see how people felt about the sign up that we used last year for the shifts, and if there's any kinks. I definitely want to know about that. And if it worked, then we'll keep it. And that's a conversation I'll have to have with the city because the previous sign up was owned by MRC, and it's paid. So I'd have to talk to Amy Kaleen if folks said that worked for them to redo that again, so that it'll be the same process. People would be able to sign up on that online sign up thing. But yeah, my intention is to have several meetings leading up to, the season, and just organizing, right? What do we need? Getting the volunteers what they need. I'm working on the training. I'm submitting I'm submitting it to the city for approval, the training catalog. And then, to be continued. So, when those are offered I'll take the pulse of the volunteers, and the volunteers will also include law enforcement and fire department. Um, and seeing, what times will work for you for trainings. We're willing to do evenings and Saturdays, if that works better for people. I understand that fire and police, that you have different kinds of shifts than most of us regular working folks. But I want to be respectful of that. So that's my intention. Again, if I'm missing something and you feel like something is important, I can drop my email in the chat if that's allowed. I'm not sure. Some Zoom
Allowed.
things. Okay, I can do it. Yeah, so I'll just drop it into the chat. It's Sarah@choicerecoverycoaching.org. But I'll drop that in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me with your thoughts, your opinions, what worked, what didn't work. If you want to be part of that like organization part of it, we welcome you. Absolutely, come on in. And let's do this together. So I hope that answered your question.
Okay. I have one more question. Grant funding, what is that looking like this year? That's.
That is a question for Amy Kaling. I know that she's looking at two different funding streams, for that. And, so that, that's to be continued, but when I spoke with her last week, we did talk about that, what does the funding look like? And so there's two different streams that could be potential, but I would leave for her to disclose that.
Any questions? And then just how can we help question? That's for you, Sarah, as well.
What? I didn't hear that.
How can we help? What would be supportive?
How can you help?
Yeah.
Start talking to people, right? People that that you think might be interested in stepping up and volunteering. People that may be interested in being part of the coordination of it. Like I said, I don't do this in a vacuum. I need all of you. And so that's just share the email, share the word that we are doing this, and I need information. I need volunteers' names. I need their emails. If they're interested, just pop me an email saying, yeah, I'm interested in volunteering this year. I'll create an Excel sheet of volunteers as they come through. But I think that's the most help that I need right now is getting a pulse on our volunteer capacity. Who do we have? I don't have the list from last year. Christy Lemoyne will be providing me with the list of volunteers, the community volunteers, and her notes from last year. Christy is a wonderful resource, and I definitely will miss connecting with her because she's in Berkshire County. But our MRC is statewide, and I'm sure we'll bump into each other at some point. But that's my intention, and that's the help I need. So volunteers, and then if you want to be part of the coordinating of this, pop me an email and give me an idea of what exactly you'd like to be part of coordinating. And then we'll work it out from there. And definitely send your email, because I'll be sending a meeting invitation to coordinators and to volunteers. And I'm hoping to, I think it starts to get cold, probably November, end of November. The weather's been kind of wonky, so we never know. It could be warm as heck or cold as heck. So we got to be prepared. So definitely, the quicker that you can get that information, the more quickly that we can begin to organize this and structure it, so that when it does happen, we're ready. We're ready. There's no confusion. We're ready. We know what the process is. Our volunteers know the process. I'd like to also, for all volunteers, I'd like to offer them a trauma-informed opioid overdose response training. I'm a TOT trainer of that, and I also do it also includes a practical skills application with rescue breathing because I have access to CPR mannequins. So I like for our volunteers to be fully trained. Things happen, even though law enforcement and fire will be there. That there's a way to respond to overdose in a kind and compassionate way. And that's the training that I offer and it's much more than that. It's about language. There's also a little section on harm reduction and what that looks like. So I'm offering that to all volunteers, regardless if you're law enforcement, fire department. I know you all are trained in emergency response, but we offer a little different take on it. So I encourage those that are interested to please take that. And as soon as I have a pulse on who's available for coordinating, I will schedule that first thing. I think that would be the first training that I'm going to offer. So I think that's all for now that I can think that you can help. I'm sure stuff is going to come up as we move through this and reach out.
Thank you so much. All right. Do you feel ready to move on to trash?
Mhm.
Real quick,
Everybody
Sarah,
smile.
I think your computer might have low battery.
Oh, I can plug it in.
Yeah.
Good call. We don't need another technical.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting your phone in the chat. All right. Trash.
Yeah, I can talk about trash. We had our cleanup on the 23rd. It went really well, like way better than I expected it to. I think we had like 8 or 9 volunteers show up, some of which had heard about it from Max's awesome poster and just sort of showed up for fun, which was really cool. I didn't expect that. We helped Christy with her site and a couple abandoned sites, and we ended up getting rid of around 30-gallon bags of trash, along with a bunch of furniture and miscellaneous scrap metal and things like that. After we had that day, we have started getting requests from the community, often through Larry, for pickups around the city, which is kind of exciting to see. As of right now, the Greenfield Trash Pickup Club is kind of spearheading that effort. There's another cleanup with the Connecticut River Conservancy coming on the 27th. That's kind of their thing. We'll be there, but we're not organizing it. But I'm really optimistic about how we've sort of gotten the ball rolling on this, and it seems like I'm excited to do more in the future, and it seems like we're also doing a good job of like not just being one-off events, but like helping people in the day-to-day. So we had a little debrief that went great. Again, it really I'm not sure if Max is able to make it to these meetings, but he's kind of spearheading these efforts as it stands. So yeah, several other of you were there on the 23rd, so I would love to hear your thoughts about how it went. But I was thrilled.
Yeah, we can talk about the 23rd and then also just an update on when we went on a site tour behind Greenfield Gardens, that bike path spot with there's there briefly Robin, 2 people from Tapestry, someone from DPW, Amy Kaling, Greenfield Trash Pickup Club. Sorry if that's my computer. But anyway, what came out of that is that DPW is interested and available in helping provide regular trash pickup, and that it's just a matter of figuring out logistics, and they can drive their truck down the bike path, and they don't have a dumpster, but they can use barrels and they can turn around, and they already use that path and access it, so they can do that. There will just need to be coordination with residents to actually, put stuff in barrels and bring it to like the bike path, sort of like just if you're in a house, you put your trash in the curb. So that's all that's really required there luckily, but, and then the Source to Sea folks are gonna get 2 dumpsters from USA Recycling donated, and then that's gonna like try to get the backlog, the mountain of trash that's there, and then hopefully moving forward can have like the regular trash pickup happening there. So that seems great. For your spot, Christie, trash pickup is less easy because they can't drive on the field. It's too soggy. So. But he said that they could do more barrels at the pavilion, like 6 barrels or whatever is needed. So I think, this is all things that are in process and just, can happen. So, yeah.
Yes.
The cleanup that occurred, thank you everybody who pitched in, I wasn't able to be there, but there was a question somebody from the community brought up. Who's paying for those bags, who was paying for the disposal, I know that the time and the labor was volunteered, but. Can you comment on who paid for the supplies?
My dad paid
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, so that wasn't, somebody who came up was a little. Perturbed that the
Yeah.
city was spending money on those
Yeah,
bags.
0 tax dollars were
Yeah.
used on this cleanup.
Right, but moving towards the future, right, a commitment that the public works, this is a service that they're already providing throughout the city and just making sure that they're providing it in more places.
Right, like if you had a community of like 40 people and you weren't providing trash pickup, like. That would be
Yeah,
pretty.
right, I put my trash out on the curb,
Yeah.
right, you know, and then, so, yeah.
I have a question, and I did enjoy doing it, and then the harvest meal was the same, that was like a killer day for my body. The wet rugs, hoisting them up into that truck, did a number. But I was a little upset, and I'm thrilled to hear that you've got something worked out with the DPW, because I didn't realize that, but when the article came out in the paper, it was like, hey, this is what we did, and can't wait to go back and do it all over again. And I literally called up Anthony. And I said, yeah, so I was like, it seemed like. I never said I was coming back over and over, and for several meetings, we've talked about building the community with the unhoused and with the community, the citizens. And it was always like, we're going to do it with them. Christy even said, you know, they work till 5, let's go at 5. Next thing I know, it's at 10 AM on a Saturday. And so I want to work with somebody that lives there. I don't want to do it just because I'm being helpful. Do you get, like, that article upset me. It promised all kinds of things. And I thought, who's already ran it past the UPW? Who's already ran it past the executive branch? Or was this somebody's interview? 3 people who were interviewed intensely. So, and after the fact, now this is great. DPW has a plan. This is how it's gonna work. So I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining the way that article came out and who was like interviewed. And, you know, it's great that Anthony came and he took pictures. We have a ton of pictures that Matt put on. Matt's rep put on, what does it use, Slack?
I think Signal, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought, it seems like all these things were being promised on the front page of the paper, and I thought, oh. Not unless it works for me personally, and I get help from the very people that I'm trying to be helpful to. And I know I sound a bit like a bitch, but that's the way I look at life.
I can comment on that.
Yeah, definitely.
I was the one who said I was excited to come back and do it again, and I mean that. I would like to do more events like this in the future. I will say it was an enormous help to have Christy there that day to direct us and to help out a little bit. And I also do not want to make you or anyone on the committee or watching this feel obligated to come out and do these things. This is not like part of our duties. This is very much a volunteer activity. In terms of involving the residents who are living at these campsites. I agree. I think we could have done better with that. I am so thrilled that Christy was there. We had a lot of other residents of the dog park approach us afterwards and say, hey, maybe next time you could do here, or hey, maybe next time we could be involved. So I think we are working in that direction, and I think that that will happen. I think that also is a good goal generally for this effort to have, is like increased collaboration, which I know is gonna be something we're gonna talk about a lot in our next agenda item. But in the meantime, yes, I hear that, and I think we're on the same page.
Do you want to share anything? Christy is, I don't know. Sorry to put you on the spot. If you feel-
I don't really know much what to really share. I mean, at some point, it'd be nice if we could figure out how to get the homeless in on these meetings as well. I would like to share that.
We've tried.
Yeah.
Like, we have had people say they will be here and they don't show.
Yeah.
I have tried, Larry has tried, I was promised a person would come. And they,
They show it.
2-3 times, they promised to be here.
It's hard, we're in City Hall, that's one of the reasons.
And people are living in the moment too. People, I have lived experience with being unhoused, and when you're unhoused, you're living in the moment, right? And so this moment, 10 o'clock might not be a good moment for some of them folks that are unhoused. Still trying to get breakfast, trying to shower, they're trying to, get stuff like that together. It just may not be, I don't know. I'm not trying to, yeah, we're living in the moment when you're in the streets, so.
I do know that I will put out there that I have heard from a lot of people that they are worried that this kind of thing isn't gonna happen. A lot of them are worried that when the encampment comes out, they think it's gonna come out their tax dollars and all of that, so I do wanna throw that out on the table. I did hear that some people that were homeless aren't too happy because they feel like they're gonna be forced into the encampment. Or they're going to be forced out of Massachusetts for not going to the encampment. So that might be also something that should be spoken about as well. I just found this out recently through Fernando.
Yeah, I don't think, that's like a valid concern, but I think that that's really far from the goal of what we want to do. I think the goal is just literally having a spot that has water and
That's what I was
bathrooms
figuring.
and trash pickup and not forcing anyone to be anywhere.
That's why I just wanted to throw it out there. I
Yeah.
told them they're not gonna be forced. If you wanna go there, you can go there. It's for people that wanna make it, that wanna
What are you
survive.
talking about? Is there
The-
a plan that
No, just
We're-
the
a space?
topic we've been talking about throughout the months about just having a space that has more access to.
Which we have not found yet.
We're
No, we
ideating.
haven't yet.
Okay.
It's still
I
very-
was-
No,
I missed a
there
meeting or
is-
something.
There is a fear, and
Mhm.
correct me if I'm getting this a little bit wrong, but I've heard the same things you have. There is a fear that there is some master scheme to evict people from one place and force them to live someplace else. And that to your point, I wanna reiterate it loud and clear for everybody. That like, this is not the goal of this committee, and I appreciate people being worried that they're going to lose yet again their housing, right? Like that's a totally valid fear, but that is not the goal of this committee.
And the chief has made that really clear about people wanting to be where they wanna be. You're gonna try to move them out, they're gonna go right down.
Mhm.
That's a previous meeting that we were here.
Thank you, Christy.
I just wanted to throw
Yeah,
that
thank you for bringing that up.
And
Hi, sorry, this is Reese. I'm one of the committee members, just for anyone watching the recording. And I just wanted to jump in and offer that what we have seen in the survey results so far is that people do not want to be living outside. And that's a really important point to emphasize when we're talking about like moving or being where they are or not being where they are. What people have said is, what I want is stable, consistent, safe housing. And we haven't had a single survey respondent yet say, I am happy to be living where I'm living. And that's not to say that everyone would be happy to move to a different outside space. They might be like, well, this is where I am and I would rather stay here than try out a new space. But I just want to be very clear that we haven't had a single person say, I'm happy to be living outside where I am.
Thank you, Reese.
So also, just to wrap up this idea of the next trash pickup, September 27th, there's gonna be one of the sites that's getting 2 dumpsters is along the bike path. But then I don't think the site that you're at is getting any dumpster there, so maybe it would be good for me to like follow up with Stacy and have that location also be,
A dumpster.
yeah, getting another pickup there, and coordinating some. So I think maybe like recruiting friends to join the Source to See cleanup to take care of those 2 sites would be good.
Could you clarify bike path? Cause I don't know if you mean behind Greenfield Gardens
Yeah,
or
yeah.
at the swimming area.
Greenfield Gardens.
Okay.
All right, so I can do that as a next step and then we'll try to get folks there. I think we'll have another meeting in between, maybe we will. I don't know. All right, next is the homeless and housed community event idea. Anyone, do you feel like sharing what you're?
We're ready to talk about that then?
Yeah.
Yay, yay. I wanted to see if maybe yearly we could see about doing a barbecue with the housed people and the homeless community so that we can try to get everybody to be more together. Cause I'm gonna be that weirdo out there, cause I'm a geek, so I'm gonna be that weirdo out there. This is kind of like vampires, werewolves kind of thing. Homeless against the homeless against the house against homeless. Come on. Just throwing it out there.
I think it's a
Sorry.
great idea. That's really wonderful. Yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah, I mean, what does that look like? Who is that, like a rec department thing? Is that like, I don't even,
Wasn't sure who controls.
well, this is the thing. I'm so bad at throwing a party.
I was-
So I don't. I am so bad at it. But yeah.
I was figuring maybe it was something we could all throw ourselves into maybe, and like I told Sarah, saying maybe we could give a heads out to like the libraries and all of that, and then throw it out in the mail for people so that everybody can get it. This way the community, the homeless people will get it, and
Yeah,
people who are homed will get it.
yeah.
I was figuring. And then if they want to bring something to the barbecue, they could bring something to it. If they don't want to, that's fine.
Do you have a site picked up?
I was figuring we could do over at the pavilion. I figured it's a big enough space.
Yeah.
Cause my boyfriend can't travel very far.
Well, I mean, there's something for everybody
Mhm.
there, right?
Mhm,
Yeah,
and there's already a grill
You
there.
got a kid, there's a playground there, yeah.
Right, it's designed for
And
barbecue.
I remember this was something that Housing Greenfield was going to talk about in conjunction with the same thing as the meeting that Whiskey was coming to. So right now, that particular group is caught up in the referendum
Mhm.
and they are organizing for that. So I can't imagine that, and we're gonna hit some cooler weather as time goes on. So I think choosing a date and then finding out if people from Housing Greenfield also want to do Parks and Rec, but it is gonna take people pulling together for that common fun thing. Now we have a location, you have to look for a date, and we have to reach out to a few agencies that usually do party. Recs, Parks and Rec really know how to party.
Still September, I wouldn't think October would be too bad of a month.
Yep.
Just figure out a day in the month of October.
Continuing with the Halloweeny theme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
I like that idea. And housing Greenfield. Yeah,
Just so we can at least start it off.
maybe the interfaith council would help provide funds for the food, or we can.
I'm sure I can talk to Amy and get some stuff.
Oh, great.
Sure I can. Once we know the date,
Does anyone wanna like be appoint party planner. So now that's kind of like. No worries, if not, we can just figure it out.
I'm willing to help. I don't want to be the
No,
point
of course,
person, but I am actually very good at throwing a party. So, especially through those good blackbirds.
I was gonna say, I know, you and me get some stuff done.
Yeah. So I'm
I don't know. what
be
we-
happy to help and the library, you know, we could do a pop-up and do some activities, things like that. So
Thank you.
buttons and stickers, of course, that's pretty good.
Amazing.
And I don't wanna promise housing in Greenfield, because this is a serious campaign that they're focusing on. I'm just saying, in the past, it was mentioned that that was gonna be a group, so I can certainly reach out to Susan, but right now, they are concentrating on something super important to them.
I think, you can also just, the most low key version of this is just we order pizza and that's it. So that's like our low minimum, and then if we wanted to do something like more eventful, we could.
And then something that might also, and I don't know if this would be helpful, but a possibility of reaching out and seeing if other groups wanna just table.
Yeah.
Just to be part of it, just. Not to make it a huge thing, but, you know, if they're,
Yeah,
I don't know if that would be helpful for what everybody else thinks. 'Cause I'm looking at you because you brought it up, so you're really the coordinator. Not-
I love the idea of like, you know, resources tabling, kind of being like.
Or just
hey,
kinda like fun.
Yeah. I wanna make sure that this feels more like community building
And
and
not-
not like
that makes
an
sense.
event being hosted by, so we can bring you.
Yeah.
Like, and I love the idea of like providing food. I think like, and I don't wanna say later in the year, but it's starting to get a little cold, and I think that's an important point, right? I think that like a community activity outside where we are providing service, we are providing food, we have these things, and also maybe a potluck incorporation or something, so members of the community can really build community and get used to providing for each other and like getting to know each other and interacting, and then also either overtly or not being like, yeah, and half of us, right, are gonna stay out here all night as it's getting dark, right, and it's getting cold, everybody else is going, you know, someplace with central heating or whatever, and you know, kind of like.
I like that. I like that a lot. Good talk.
Good.
Should we have a tentative date so that things start?
Pick a date, yeah.
Yeah.
Christy, do you want to give us some input on what day of the week might work, or?
For October.
Yeah,
I don't know what availability everybody else has. If we were going to decide what day of the week we would do it.
Should we do October 11 to 12? Or is that,
Everybody else got that for availability?
Columbus Day weekend.
oh, is that what that is?
Mhm.
Oh, well, that seems fun. I mean, some people go
Monday
away.
the 13th even.
Maybe the 13th is fun.
Spooky.
Yeah, right, let's do
No,
the
that's
13th.
indigenous
Well,
weeks.
I kinda like
It is.
It is, yeah.
True. I know, so it's about-
Else want to do that.
No,
weekend?
I think that's, right, people will have had the day off, but they will also vote most likely, if we're gonna do like an afternoon into evening thing or whatever. Or whatever, right, they'll likely be if they traveled. Back in the area or something, yeah, I like it.
So maybe we'll shoot for that Monday afternoon.
13th, yeah.
Okay, and if not, if there's something else going on, we can also shift it to that weekend.
So the 13th is the day we're looking at.
Over 13th.
Okay, and if we do no planning, we can just get pizza and say a time. And if we do some planning, then we'll do some planning. Maybe we'll make a flyer, maybe we won't.
If you
Definitely
wanna
Yeah,
send me the
you gotta have-
information, I can
Okay.
put a flyer together in Canva.
Oh, perfect.
thank you.
But you have
Amazing.
to send me the
Come on,
information.
plan.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe if you put flyers down at the park, like even the rec league down there, like I used to play in the men's football league down there.
Mm.
And I think it was the Rockets, like 4 or 5 years ago, they grilled for some of like the people down there. So I feel like they'd be real receptive to it too.
One of the baseballers.
Yeah.
Baseballers,
They
yeah,
go-
probably.
So they play
Yeah.
football and
But I
They
remember
probably wanna join
one of the
in with it.
teams that we used to play in football, they'd bring burgers and they'd grill and like
It's a good
invite something
point.
over. That was like
And-
5 years ago.
they still
But
do that.
yeah, I know they still do.
Cause the homeless and the baseballers tend to have fights with each
Plus
other.
you guys
so
are all
that'd be a
down there
good
anyway,
idea.
so you guys can all become like friendly
good idea.
faces.
And I like that.
I mean, that's
I
like,
like that
that's just,
idea.
and that's just networking.
See about borrowing the.
That could become a more common thing.
That's
So
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
like
rec
that.
department games, maybe if they even wanna co-host, if they don't, it's not a big deal. Does anyone wanna talk to the rec department on this? It's not.
If anybody's got their number, I'll talk to them.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
I got a problem with it.
Party.
I could reach out to
Great. Christy and Christy,
Rich
Got it.
Clark, he runs that league. I
great,
know, I know him, I could reach out to him.
thank you. Okay, great, so I'll connect you, Christy, with Christy
Alright,
at the rec.
thank you.
And once there's a flyer or whatever. Okay, cool, and then I think, does anyone feel strongly about barbecuing or whatever?
What do you mean?
Pizza versus that.
Oh,
Talking about pizza.
Like,
Well,
it's a
Oh,
lot.
you want, like potluck is more.
I
homemade.
just thought about something that they really didn't think about till now. Is there a way we could figure out for the homeless to be able to do laundry better? More efficient? I just thought about that.
Yeah,
I thought that CSO's facility.
You sell,
CSO,
and the Salvation Army, they both
Yeah, they both
have
do
laundry.
laundry.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, Salvation Army has laundry service, and CSO the sheet down there.
On
with
Arch
Shelby
Street.
Center.
Eight
Okay.
to 4 every
Yeah,
day.
laundry service. Both places have laundry service.
I didn't even know that, okay. Okay,
pop. Potluck.
never mind.
No, why don't-
If you send me.
I don't
all
know
the
how
details,
well it
I'll throw
goes,
I can throw it.
but
to
I
you.
do know that
I
I know that Salvation, I know I don't do
Okay.
Salvation Army, cause that's like being in line for the shower,
That's
and
great.
by, for all you know, it's gonna be the next day before you shower, so.
Yeah, I want.
That's why I don't really
Yeah,
do,
there's only-
there's only two places.
So we're devolving, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is it like Salvation Army where it's the next day?
It's not gonna take.
Um,
A lot of folks I know be.
Thank God.
so the laundry service, what is the laundry? What is the current system, what were you saying?
Well, Salvation Army has laundry service Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And then
Didn't
you
even-
gotta sign up for it.
Okay.
And then also CSO on not Wall Street, Arch Place. Monday, I think it's every day.
It's every day.
It's open from 8 to 4, and you can go in there and see the nurse, eat lunch, do your laundry, take a shower, all that's to hang out. And it's like a drop-in type setup.
Great. Okay, let's skip community survey because we don't have Reese on the agenda. And then the next topics were winter prep. So 2 topics, I mean, there's 2 bullet points, but there could be more. One is porta potties, because I know that they're seasonal, I don't know when they usually go away. But they could be there over the winter.
They aren't usually, they usually go away and then come back out when the baseballers are coming out,
Totally.
they usually take them away for the winter.
But they could be there for winter as
Oh,
well.
yes, they could,
They could,
but they never are,
they have not been.
it would be nice.
And then outdoor water refill, because that I know is tricky with like pipe
Yes.
freezing and whatnot, but that would be,
Cause the water will get shut off at the dog park and then won't be reopened until, I think it was April. I think when they reopened it or sometime after January.
this.
It's been 10 minutes.
One more minute.
Really?
It's the 11th day of the 11th. Oh, my, another.
11.
Oh, right.
Today's 9/11.
Jesus.
Okay, so. I don't know where to start with this, but like outdoor water refill at the pre-substation, Chief Dodge said that he liked that idea, they've been talking about it.
I think logistically, it's, I think logistically it wasn't gonna be able to happen just like right, but. But I thought there was some discussion about, there is. There is, I think, there is water availability like at the pocket park though. And so maybe installation of an outdoor fountain or something. I haven't been part of this conversation. The only thing I know is that the outside like mounted on the building didn't seem like an option.
Is there a water station available at the Portland Loop?
There is, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, on the outside of the Portland.
But
Loop.
not like drinking?
Well,
It's
it's,
possible.
yeah,
Oh, it
it's,
is.
yeah, it's like potable. It's just like a bottle filler and like a little,
The corner of the skate park also had like a bubbler.
at the skate park,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but are these like anything we can take like big containers to so that we can go back to our tent to shower?
I'd be long.
And yeah,
That's
maybe-
the question,
maybe
is
just
being able to shower
keeping
for the
water,
winter.
Yeah.
I'd be long with a little bit.
I guess, you know, if you've got a big barrel or whatever, yeah, and you've got a way to move it, there's nothing stopping you, because, but I don't know. Your comment about shutting the water off down at. Yeah, I don't know if the Portland Loo or the skate park. Bubble or,
That's too far.
it's too far, but I also don't know. If those things get shut off or
Well,
what.
that's true too.
Because the one at the dog park definitely does.
Yeah,
And everywhere else is too far away with the fact that we need a wagon to wheel our water
Right.
around.
That water, the Portland Loop, that water is going, they don't cut that, doesn't get caught.
They don't cut that for winter?
Nothing to it. Not gonna get shut off.
Well, that's great. I didn't know that. Cause I don't know how water works, that it doesn't freeze and then sometimes it does. It's a mystery to me.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's great. It's also not really well located.
No, it's
unless
not.
you're parking in that parking
No,
lot
it's not.
or at the skate, right? Like that's the
Worst
issue,
place.
right? Yeah.
Downtown, that thing was supposed to be down by the energy park. There was a lot of meetings about, I want to stop talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
That's one that upset them.
How it ended up in the skate park.
I mean. That water, like there's the DIY solution, like dropping off tanks that are insulated, something like that, and. But. Getting. Like. I don't know, like who, I feel like we should just talk to someone in the city about the like actual logistics of like. Why the Portland Loop can have running water, or what it would take for other locations to have
right.
outdoor running water year round.
It could literally be as simple as, oh, we shut off the park because that's what we always did. You know what I mean? And it's like not, because they're like, why would anybody need this in the winter time? You know what I mean? Like it might be as simple as
That
that.
might be just that simple.
So,
Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense. That's simple, yeah.
Who we talked to, I don't even know, like, probably something that should, know.
DPW Central, maybe? Central Maintenance?
DPW.
Alright, I'll follow up on that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
DPW.
Or they would know where to point.
They would know, yeah.
Okay, Zoe will follow up on
Yeah, go to find out.
winter
Thank you, Zoe.
water access. And then. The porta potties also, they go for the winter. But. Do you feel like they would be used, like people use them if
Oh,
they're
yeah.
still there over the
people
winter?
use them.
So. I mean, that's just a. But
I mean, some people have their own little porter potties in the woods that they bring out to the bigger porter potty that they've decided to start dumping into it,
Okay.
in fact.
It is a chemical toilet, it's not like water that freezes.
Right, no, I
Doesn't-
looked it up
Doesn't
and
it not freeze?
it doesn't freeze, there's like
I think
antifreeze.
it's asking to have one remain out there at the
Right.
top during the winter season. The same thing is like, oh. You're gonna leave the water on, It's like,
Mhm.
make that request.
Right. Okay.
Makes sense.
To central office, right?
Mhm.
Or to the executive branch.
Yes.
Makes a lot of
Who
sense.
was in your porta potty, like, research, who was,
Central Maintenance has a number with, they have a desk that is staffed by a variety of people.
Okay.
It's on the website. That's what I used.
But in terms of the actual company, I went to Nimbercaw's office and was referred to Jonathan, like they have the file. when we were asking, are you cleaning up, how often do you come, all that stuff we spent time on. So he may know something too, Jonathan.
So is it possible we could pile this on your plate too if it's in central maintenance as
Yeah,
well?
well, I got the hood up, yeah.
Yeah.
Since you're not planning the party.
Yeah, exactly.
And
If you're really bad at that.
Something you don't want me planning. I'm doing y'all a favor.
Perfect. Okay, reasonable water, bathrooms, figuring it out year round for winter. Next is just, also it's 11:15, but we're basically done. I think Robin, I'm sorry, not Robin, Reese wants us to choose a next meeting time that's not this time, but we can figure that out again. I guess, or maybe we can find some.
Well, before we do the next meeting, time, can I ask, where are we with this recommendation that goes back to city council, the rough draft and all of
Yeah.
that?
I think we can speak to that in this next bucket of just like, we met with FERCog, do you want to share? Because that I think was informing a lot of the recommendations.
Who met with her?
We
You
did,
two did.
yeah,
About taking the recommendations from the ad hoc back to city council?
yeah, just like getting advice on the actual text of what zoning changes or what ordinance changes. So, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great meeting. It seems like the big takeaway is that they're available to help us with language, which is awesome. And also zoning recommendations are eminently possible. There are like a lot of models to work from and we can, so I think it was good. I think it was positive. The other big thing to look at is we're probably gonna end up with more categories than we thought. It's not as simple as like just like striking a few things, like there's condo zoning and there's cottage model zoning and there's village model zoning and all of these or not zoning regulations and all of these can be accommodated for in different ways. So it's going to be a big project, but it's eminently achievable.
Yeah,
Way.
some of the specific things we asked them to help us with, we mentioned the resource card and the map. So thank you, Councilor Berry, for that domestic violence services resource map example. That was really helpful. I don't know if anyone saw it, but whatever, I can share it by email. I could screen share, but it's too complicated. But anyway, someone at FERCog made that map, and so Mariah and Megan from FERCog are asking the person who made that map if they would maybe be willing to, if there was like grant and staffing capacity to also work on another map for this project, which is great because we could do it as volunteers, but awesome if someone can do it on paid time. And also then it's more officially like adopted and integrated into like, this is something the city will continuously maintain, hopefully. And
One of our committees has also talked about working on something similar, so maybe there could be some
Yeah.
collaboration. Yeah, we have a DV expansion committee that's talking about it.
I thought Amy Kaleen was also doing a map, it's like we were trying to
But
get
isn't the PLE doing the math?
one map, out of 3 different agents.
Two different people.
Somebody can-
Two different committees that were talking about it.
I don't know about Amy making a map. And do you all know about Amy Kaling?
No, we haven't heard.
It seems like we need someone to take the lead.
Yeah, it seems like
on
everyone
map
wants this
making.
to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So just,
I just mentioned it because we don't want more than one person doing the same work.
Yeah.
So, you know, reinventing the wheel.
If we hear, we are waiting to hear from FERCog right now on whether or not, so if we hear that they are going to take on this project, then if it's okay with you guys, we will give you all their contact information and
Yeah.
they can be point on that maybe, or
CRC.
yeah.
I will pass it along to
Great.
folks in the committee.
Thank you.
because if they've done something similar in the past, I feel like they have the expertise that like our office does not necessarily.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they're able.
And I think updating the resource card, like the idea of being like, maybe one side's the map and one side's like the resource card, and it could all get like zhuzhed and color coded and visual symbols and like different language capacities, so.
Yeah, the map you showed in the last meeting was really great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was a good example.
The little card, Amy is updating through the Rio Verge, the one they give out in the Justice Center, the one that they keep talking about. That one doesn't have a map, it has the trees, the food, and Amy is getting rid of the information that's wrong and redoing the whole thing, editing it, and then that one will come up. That's not the one that, when I met with her, I don't think she was putting a map on that particular tiny
your-
thing.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
your stuff.
Christian LaPlante had given it to me before he left.
Mhm.
He'd given it to the library. I updated it in August and then I gave it to. I've just been giving it to whoever wants it. So that is what we use internally. That's what we hand out. It doesn't have the map. We made it a little bit bigger. So that it might be a little easier to read because it was so small.
Right.
So that's what we are doing. So, and it's available to anybody who, if anybody wants it, the template, I'm happy to send me an email, I'm happy to give it.
Do you work with her, like
Yeah.
taking days in off of there?
Yeah, I updated it before I sent it to you, I think, yeah.
But I think the question is Amy Lane duplicating effort right now?
It could be,
Yeah.
Well, because I was told about it at the Justice Center. That's how I even found it, took it to Maria, she says it's wrong for Thursdays for her church feeding people. And then Days In is wrong because it's gonna be a Marriott, so I didn't realize you change things, Amy's updating things. And so I think we do tend to have this complication, this duplication kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, I've handed out a few of those.
The
I
Tri-County,
handed out a few that you can.
Tri-County people
Yeah,
were
I've got
talking about
updated
duplication, remember?
Right.
Like, who's doing what?
I have a question. On the card, do you say like last updated blank blank?
usually, if I remember the last one, yeah, cause I updated it. A month ago, but maybe. So I'll look at it again, and I can just send it, I can send it out to you. I'll send you out the template when I get back. Make sure it's updated.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I still didn't talk to 413 Cares, but that would also be good. At some point, but it'll happen at some point. To like have the digital resources also match what's happening. Distributed print material.
Sarah, do you know who was going to take our possible recommendations of location for lockers?
I think that was community economic development.
So somebody here was taking those two ideas over to. Cause we have the
I think
money,
that
we
was-
just have to choose the
yeah.
location, so I just don't want that to fall.
Totally, that's a good
again.
reminder. I think Reese was the one who had the ideas about the locker locations. So I will just nudge Reese after this meeting and I'll hopefully my notes are legible. I'll figure this out. That's a good nudge, please. And I think that's in terms of the other pieces with FERCog. They said they don't have any expertise around decriminalization. With ordinances related to like sleeping in a parked car or curfews. Or peace and good order, sorry, I don't know, maybe these whatever, peace and order. So. They said that community legal aid might be a good place to follow up about like. Amending the ordinances so that. People's right to just like exist is protected more.
Yeah, and the National Homelessness Law Center has like template or. It's not the right word. They have like example language of ordinances at the local state level on their website or like similar things.
Yes, we've been looking at that, but there's still. Like. It's not quite copy pasta, it's like we would have to like do stuff, make it fit. But National Homelessness Law Center also did offer to like meet with us again, so that's something that could happen. And then there's also the risk of like, oh, if we like talk about all the things that are wrong with the code. Then maybe it's like adding more attention to it then, like, so we'll see. It's right now, it's like. So we'll see, but that whole topic bucket of like decriminalization is, maybe, is still in the works, but maybe moving at a slower pace, I think. And then the zoning stuff is the next thing with like manufactured homes, manufactured housing communities, because they can be like half the price of stick-built homes. So that's something they can advise on, and tiny homes, they could have been regulated as accessory dwelling units, but then they said that because of the state law that accessory dwelling units are by right, they have to be on foundation in the definition of ADUs, so now we're not really sure how that impacts tiny homes, because then it makes it harder to regulate it as an ADU, so then it's all getting messy and murky. But that's really all, and then the village model, like that last idea of like, okay, like for people to have a self-governed community of structures. And how can we, and their suggestion was to take campground zoning text and then modify it to like just take out the part that says like occupied on a temporary basis, and they were gonna recommend a sanitarian who works for FERCog and does health inspections for campgrounds. So because I think the bathrooms would be like one of the most problematic things to figure out. So I think that's basically where all those things stand. It's just all half baked at this point, but they start out that way. But it's just,
Have faith that they're in the end.
yeah, exactly. They're in the oven, or they're in whatever. Portable.
Best
Portable.
Just waiting for the oven to heat up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's basically all I got. It's 11:25. I don't know. And if
I am gonna make an announcement.
Sure.
Signing from the ad hoc as of today. I've enjoyed working with everybody, and I think a lot has been accomplished. I'll continue to build the relationships with some of the unhoused. I spend a lot of time downtown. And I need to move on to some of the initiative elections and some other things. So if I gotta take an iron out of the fire again and put another iron to, I need my sanity back as well.
Right.
So I just want to thank everybody for all your hard work. I have most everybody's phone number. I'll probably bug Larry from time to time. I just had to bug him yesterday about it. If he just got out of the hospital, I'm gonna go track him down. So, but I think it's a lot of good work. And I will say, I think out of this, once the recommendation goes over to the city council, there's a whole lot of agencies, and I counted almost 17 that are assisting the unhoused. We take the fire and Salvation Army and welfare allowance, and you people over here, and then Medical Reserve Corps. And it's my hope that if something is already being done, then somebody else doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. And I will say, occasionally I've talked to the mayor and she's like, we're already doing that. It's already being done. And I said, well, nobody knows what's already being done. It would be really great to have this overall arching picture of what agency is doing what. Not necessarily how or when, but you know, you've got CSO and ServiceNet, LifePath and the library, you know, it's like all of this stuff. And the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. I'm appalled that Christy doesn't know. We've talked many times. Showers are available over on Arch Street and have been. And food is there, and food is daily at Salvation Army, you know, and ability to shower and laundry. So this is important that people know where they can go for what.
Want to put out there that Salvation is a place to shower. Salvation, they don't actually have people that clean the showers. So it's quite disgusting that you have to wear flip-flops just to go in there in order to shower. Your feet aren't actually clean. You are not actually clean. And, you know, many accounts of homeless saying, hey, I'll help clean the shower. and we get turned down on wanting to clean the shower that we are being asked to use.
Gabby's a great cleaner and she spends a lot of time scrubbing that bathroom and so does somebody else during the warming center season. So, but I hear your.
Yeah, I'm getting, I haven't been going because they're yucky. Well, I have my shower thing.
Well, this brings up, yeah, we can wrap it up, but like. Assuming that the mayor will want to, fill your spot, so we'll try to figure that out. This was-
We'll chat.
Will do. But thank you for what you've been contributing into this committee, and I'm sure that we're. Sure you'll still be helping things out. And also Reese said that they can't do this meeting time because they now have class at this time, so. Maybe, look at Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday after 1. And you can let me know after the meeting. But yeah, and just as always, like, let me know topics that you want to put on the agenda. I'll try to do better about putting them out sooner so you can adjust them before they go live. And with that, anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And Larry seconded?
Yes.
All in favor? Alright, that's everybody. All right, meeting is adjourned at 11:30 AM. Thank you, Councilor Perry, for being here.